Hi, gun people. Still got these little things up here drying. I haven't even posted part 2 yet, but I'll post part 2 after this. I don't know if you can even see those, but I'll try to get part 2. I wanted to talk about, I think I'm gonna waterlocks that little table. I picked up that's some garage sale. I think $5 or $7 for that little sucker. Pretty nice little table. Sanded it down, put some, I thought I did some linseed oil on it, but it looks like it's dry enough maybe to do that waterlocks. So let's talk about, it just got dark out here, so it's cooling off. I think these are pretty much dried, almost dried. Well, these turned out really, really nice. Ooh, little grips. Ooh. And they're pretty dry. So that's what they're going to look like now that they're dried up. They still have that kind of like wet look. So let's talk about the 4473, because this is kind of I think kind of a big deal, and people are missing it. So somebody asked me about registration and registration of guns. Most states don't have registration of guns. I know Hawaii does. When I went to Hawaii, when I was stationed in the military, I had guns. Even though I kept them on base, I had to bring them downtown. The cops had to verify the serial number, write down all the stuff. They took a picture, they snapped it, they took a picture of me, and every weapon that I had a registration form. That's gun registration. When you buy a gun locally and you fill out your 4473, that's not registration. I mean, maybe technically it is, but it's not. A 4473, and I'll slide in that 4473 because I want to talk about the form, and I'm going to actually point out, maybe I'll just put in a picture and I'll highlight it. On the 4473, one of the questions is, well, shit, let me get back. 4473, when you fill out when you buy a gun, that's not sent to the government. Everybody thinks that's sent to the government. It's not. It can be, and it may be, but it isn't. That form is kept with the person that you bought the gun with. They're required to keep it for 20 years. Then they can destroy it, or they can send it to the government, their choice. If they're a freaking commie, they'll send it to the government. If they're a Second Amendment supporter, they'll destroy it. And then it only goes to the government if they go out of business or they lose their license. Then all their 4473s are sent to the government. The government snaps a picture and puts them on microfiche. So if I buy a gun, let's say I buy a gun in 4473, I buy it from Buck. My 4473 stays at Buck's. The government has no idea, one, that I bought a gun, because I have a concealed permit. If you have a concealed permit, you don't have to call in. If your dealer has to call in to the feds and get approval every time you buy a gun for their so-called background check, then the government knows that you're buying a gun. They don't know what gun, and they don't know the serial number, and they don't even, I don't think they might know if it's a handgun or pistol, but they don't know anything else about the gun. They know you bought a gun and you're authorized to buy it, and they get the FFL number of the guy that called it in. So later, if you become a suspect in an investigation or a target of investigation, they will go back to their computer and go, well, we did a background on them to buy a gun at this place, and at this place, and at this place. Now they will send requests for the 4473 to see what gun you bought and what transaction happened. But that doesn't happen unless the feds request and if they know where you bought it. I buy guns all over Texas. I buy them at gun shows, I buy them from private parties, I buy them at different dealerships. They don't do a background. I show them the concealed permit. That's the background. They write that down. They shove that 4473 in their files, and it stays in their files unless I become a target investigation or that gun that I bought is used in a crime. Let's say I bought the gun from Buck. Buck shoved the 4473 in a file. Government has no idea I have it. Somebody steals my gun and kills a cop. When they kill that cop, they're going to find a gun. They're going to read the serial number and go, where does this gun go? the feds will go, that serial number from that gun was transported and imported from this person or made by this company, and it was sent to this dealer. And they'll call the dealership and go, we need to know what happened to this gun with this serial number. And they're going to go, I gave that gun to Buck at Lone Star Shooting Supply, and he was a distributor, and he ordered that gun 8 months ago. Now they're going to go to Buck and go, you got a gun from this distributor with this serial number, what happened to it? And Buck's going to look in his books and go, shit, my buddy Rick freaking bought that gun. And he's going to give them the 4473. Then they know, is that registration? Nah, FM, buts, and coconuts. You can call it what you want. I mean, I don't like it. I don't agree with it. I think it's bullshit. But a lot of people think when they buy a gun, it's automatically registered. It's not. Some things have to trigger for it to happen. So now that you understand the 4473 a little bit, let's get down to one of the questions on the 4473 that I think is pretty important and people need to pay attention. One of the questions, and I'm going to slide in the form so we'll have it right so you can read it yourself, but basically says, are you a drug addict or have you used or illegally, unlawfully used any drugs, marijuana or any other illegal substance or something like that? It mentions marijuana and it mentions illegal. So, and it also says either on right underneath the question or on a 4473, you only fill out the front sheet and you sign the back, and then the dealer fills out the second page. But there's a 4, 5, and 6 page to where it explains each question on what your answer is, on whether you have to mark black as race or you have to give your social security number or what residency is. It defines everything that you fill out in the back. So either where it defines it or in the question it says, have you ever unlawfully used marijuana, or words to that effect? And then it says in bold print, marijuana is still unlawful and illegal to use per federal laws. It does not matter if a state has made it legal. A lot of people are kind of, I think, screwing a pooch on that. And I hear people talking about it. And if you want to get into marijuana, I think it's like all drugs that can be used. I'm not a big fan of letting everybody use everything. I'm not a big fan of the government controlling everything. It's a weed. We spend a lot of money enforcing it. It's pretty much a harmless drug. I don't really give a shit if people use it. Do I want, more government to save us because it's legal now, and now instead of having just DUI checkpoints, we'll have freaking marijuana checkpoints, and we'll have under the influence of marijuana checkpoints, and then you have to go through the checkpoint for drugs, and then you have to go through the checkpoint for opiums, and then, so there's tentacles that come with legalization. So whether I'm for it or not, to be honest, I don't think we got a lot bigger problems than marijuana in this country, and I think we got a lot of people locked up for bullshit, and I think the war on drugs creates a lot of jobs for government and prisons and all kind of other shit. But that's not the purpose of it. The purpose of this is when you sign that 4473, you are signing that document under penalty of perjury. Perjury is usually defined by a sworn oath or you certify that something is true. If you sign something that says, I certify this is true, that's perjury if you lie. If you sign something that says, I swear under penalty of perjury that this is true, and you lie, then that's perjury. Now the FBI, and all their great wisdom, and all their great laws, and thousands, hundreds of thousands of laws probably that we got, the only thing and the most charged crime they got is lying to the FBI. That's the most common charged shit, okay? Because they can't get a real crime. And just about everybody involved in the Trump-Russia thing ain't got shit to do with Russia. It's about they misrepresented or lied or could have lied or maybe lied or misspoke or didn't quote something accurately, and the FBI was able to say, you lied. So don't talk to the FBI, pretty simple. But I digress. We're back on this. When you sign that 4473, you're signing on a penalty of perjury. When you answer those questions, if you answer something knowing it's wrong, you just committed perjury as soon as you sign that. So there's a lot of people that go, oh man, I went to Colorado, marijuana's legal, man, I smoked, it was cool, we bought it, it was great. You can no longer mark no on that question. You have to mark yes if you are telling people, if you admit it, if it can be proven that you're using drugs legally by state law and you're smoking marijuana, you are null and void about buying a gun from that point on, because if you answer yes to that question, you don't get the gun. If you answer no, you commit perjury. So, I mean, this is a critical thing, and there's some conspiracy people out there. I don't give government that much planning. I think they stumble into a lot of shit that ends up in their favor, but I don't know if they plan it. People are saying this is a big plan to legalize marijuana, have all these states legalize marijuana, let all these people use it thinking they're legal. Now they've all committed a felony because it's not legal in the feds, and now they've just got a huge mass of people that are no longer authorized to buy a firearm. Who needs gun control if nobody can buy a firearm? You don't need to control guns. Nobody can buy them. So there could be some truth to that. Regardless of whether it's true the government conspired or planned it, it is true that it's happening. And there's a lot of people that have given up their right to buy a gun because they use marijuana in a state that they thought it was legal. And now they cannot answer truthfully without committing perjury on the 4473. All I'm saying, I'm not here to enforce it. I'm not saying you shouldn't smoke. I'm not saying that you should, what. I'm just telling you, knowledge is power. You need to understand what you're signing, what the law is, how they can trip you up. And if I was using marijuana in a place or a state that I thought was legal, there wouldn't be witnesses, I wouldn't tell anybody, and I would never admit it. The 3 rules to keep your ass out of jail is admit nothing, deny everything, and demand proof. If all crooks did that, we would never put anybody in jail. I used to tell crooks that, dude, if you follow the 3 rules, we can't put you in jail. Admit nothing, deny everything, and demand proof. Okay? Don't talk. Don't try to be cool. Don't try to trick me. Don't think you're smarter. Don't give me a statement because you think you're smarter than me and I can't do nothing with the statement. You're going to lose. So, if you're using marijuana legally, not that I would ever promote any criminal or lying or misguiding the government, because they're our friend and they're here to help us. And the YouTube censor police would want to censor this video if I was giving out information on how to commit a crime. So, I am not saying commit a crime. I am saying that if you smoke marijuana and you think you're doing it legally, and you tell somebody or you let somebody know, you, by law, are no longer authorized to buy a weapon. That's all I'm saying, people. Don't shoot the messenger. I know I'm going to have people coming here trying to beat me up. Rick, you can't, marijuana is a harmless drug and you're just... Shut up. People, listen to what the hell I said. I'll give you a quick look at some of these grips. These bad boys turn out nice. Remember, this is the only grip. This is 3 coats on this grip. All these grips just have 1 coat. So try to get you different angles there. At an angle, and then at a up, straight down kind of shot. And I'll slide in a picture on part 2 where I was putting those on, and when they were on a gun before I pulled them off. And then I'll show them another picture after I put them back on. But I think I'm going to put another coat on here. And I don't think I need to do a video on that. This little board's coming out nice. This is 3 coats of water locks. That's 3 coats of water locks. My bench looks nice. I had some extra, so I went over here and just kind of put it over this bench. Hell, I even put it over the flag. I just smeared it right over the flag. Put a little bit of yellowing here because I think I didn't clean it and there was a little bit of dirt. But it just put a protective coating over the flag and the table. And so it's pretty easy to tell on this table where I rubbed in the water locks. And this is all completely dry. So that's 1 coat of water locks, you can tell. And then I just smeared a little bit that was left on the front along the edge there. And I don't know if you can tell too much on that. But anyway, all right, we'll end that there. I saw Moki over there eating, but I don't know where he went. He must have left because I was yelling. All right, end that there.